Eduardo Rocky Hernandez versus Thomas Gunnerman Mattice. 12 rounds, 130-pound division. This is taking place Friday, September 13th in Mexico. I think it's going to be a very exciting fight. Let's get into it. Let's start with their respective records. Rocky Hernandez, 35 wins, 2 losses, 32 wins by way of knockout. Mattice, 22 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw, and 17 wins by way of knockout. Now, with this fight taking place in Mexico, there's going to play in the strength of Rocky Hernandez for a few reasons. One, it's going to be a smaller ring, easier for Rocky to get to his opponents. He's not going to have to cut off the ring too much if that's the case. And obviously the hometown crowd, hometown feel, hometown judges probably. And we remember what type of fight it was when Rocky Hernandez fought O'Shaquie Foster. It wasn't working in Shaquie's favor until Foster took over the fight in the 12th round. And if Hernandez would have survived that fight, or survive that round, there's a good chance that Hernandez would have gotten the win. Gunnerman Mattice is on a 5-fight win streak, man, and during this win streak, only one of those fights have went the distance. So he's got pop in his shots. He's feeling good. He's feeling confident. He's got 3 losses on his resume, but he's never been stopped before in those losses. Something to keep in mind. He lost to Will Madeira 2019. He fought Pitbull Cruz the following year and lost that fight, close fight, and lost against Luis Melendez the year after. Mattice is no rookie when it comes to someone who is fighting a pressuring style. It doesn't get more pressure than Pitbull Cruz. Mattice has a solid chin, man, because he fought Cruz and he took some big shots to the chin, cleanly on the chin, and did not go down. I also think against Pitbull Cruz, the size difference was giving him a bit of a problem. With Pitbull Cruz being the shorter fighter, you got to angle your punches a certain way and find his timing. Cruz is always ducking and coming forward and coming over the top. It's different fighting him. You got to be strategic and calculated in your approach. And I felt like Mattice did a good job of blocking some of those punches because not all of them got through. Blocking the punches, tying up when he was in trouble, ducking out of the way. He knew he wasn't going to be able to keep up with the workload and the pace of Cruz, so he had to fight a more calculated fight and got to boxing and avoid standing right in front of Cruz and trading and brawling with him. We know Cruz has a solid chin. Now, Cruz did have him hurt in the 7th round and the 8th round and a bit of the 9th round, but Mattice had a strong 10th round, came back very strong, and Mattice found a way to survive all the way to the end. Though he did lose a close fight, man, it was a good showing. I was very impressed with his movement and how he did not neglect certain shots like the jab and how he was slipping certain shots and using his footwork to get out the way. Hernandez ran out of gas when he fought against O'Shaquie Foster. He was throwing so many punches, sometimes wild punches, and Shock was fighting in spurts, man. Shock was frustrated in many ways, but he had to wither a bunch of that early storm and found the opening and took advantage of the opening when Hernandez was gassing out a little bit, tiring out a little bit. Defense got a lot more sloppy, and Shock took control in that 12th round and closed out the show. Mattice can box and he's got pop in his shots, right? And I think Mattice has the type of power where his opponents, they got to respect him. I also have the question when it comes to Rocky Hernandez, like, is he a little bit chinny to you? You know what I'm saying? Is he a little bit chinny? You got to ask that question. Both times that he's lost, it's been by stoppage. Remember, he got stopped against Roger Gutierrez in the 1st round with a counter shot, and it was over with, right? Gutierrez was getting punched on in that fight, man. His mouth was bloody. Like, it wasn't looking too good for him. But Hernandez came forward a little bit overcommitted with his hands down and got caught in an exchange, and it was over with. And he tried to get up too fast rather than letting his, taking that count and let his body recover just a little bit. But Rocky Hernandez, if you can counter him and find the timing correctly, he's there to be hurt. He can be hurt. It's been proven once before. Mattice, while he's been hurt, never been stopped. And he does have the power to hurt Rocky Hernandez, in my opinion. Now, in Rocky Hernandez's most recent fight, he fought Daniel Lugo in a comeback fight after a loss. Not always an easy fight, fighting a guy. You could fight a much lesser guy. Daniel Lugo, he's going to make you fight, man. And Rocky Hernandez was noticeably hurt in that third round. He was trying to bait Lugo to come in, and he was laying on the ropes, leaning back on the ropes a little bit. And while he was trying to land that shot, Lugo caught him first very quickly. And Rocky was hurt, man. He was backing up. He was moving laterally, trying to get out the way. Rocky Hernandez sometimes has a tendency to keep his hands low. And I don't know if it's the ego. I don't know what the case is, but there are moments in his fights where he's just defensively irresponsible by choice. You know, you can choose to drop your hands. He seems to do that sometimes. But after that third round, man, he came on strong with a level of vengeance, and he just put a beating on Lugo from the fourth round and beyond. Man, Rocky does a great job of accurately placing his shots with tactics. Some of Rocky's shots is not punishing blows. It's just tap, 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 tap. And then he'll disperse 3 or 4 hard punches. When he softens you with those light taps, then he sits on those other punches, and he has a way of breaking his opponents down. 32 wins by way of knockout is no joke. That's a lot of knockouts, especially in 35 fights. So Rocky Hernandez, he's an accumulative fighter. He breaks you down, man. So it's tough to keep him off of you for any round. You know what I'm saying? Like, but if you can catch him, he can be hurt. Now, Mattice had a controversial fight against Romero Cecina last year. A lot of people thought the stoppage was a little bit premature, a little bit early, and a lot of people had Mattice losing that fight up until the stoppage. Cecina was also undefeated at the time, and Mattice, a little bit older, he beat the younger man, right? Mattice is 34 years old coming into this fight. Rocky, I believe, is 25, 26 years old. So the conditioning on paper would say the younger man should be better conditioned. He should be the one to take more risk in the fight. Mattice, you know, in his most recent fight was against Cesar Juarez. Juarez is a bit of a journeyman, man, but Mattice did find a way to get the stoppage win in the 8th round. So again, this is going to be a very interesting fight, a fight that I think could go either way. I think this is a 50-50 fight in my opinion. So who wins? Before I give my pick on this fight, I have something real quick to share. You know, I'm always looking to bring more light, more value, more opportunities for the community. I've been working on a few different things in recent weeks to not just grow the channel, but as I said, to continue to provide as much value as I can to each of you in our community. With that being said, I got some exciting news to share. I'm happy to announce my partnership with BetStamp and Sign Up Expert. It's a great opportunity for you to join some of the best sports books to get the best odds and new user offer. All you have to do is head over to my dedicated page at signupexpert.com/the breakdown to explore a selection of sports books tailored to your region, each with its own unique offerings. So if you want to place a bet this weekend and on this fight and beyond, check out the link to find the best options for you in your region. Every sign up does support the channel, and it helps the channel grow and to expand and to create more opportunities, not just for me, but for our community. You know, I'm always looking out for you guys as best as I can. You can easily find the link in the description below this videos and videos moving forward. So get down there and check it out and find the best option for you. Now, let's get back to the video. This is Mattisse's first fight this year. Rocky has already fought once this year, so in terms of activity, the edge goes to Rocky Hernandez. The ring will be smaller, so that I think will favor Hernandez as well too. Shock came down to Mexico and won their fight, and I personally think Mattice has the potential to do the same thing. He's got the skill to do it, the movement to do it. He's got the power to cause problems for Rocky Hernandez if he can weather the early storms. If he can weather the early storms, I would not be surprised if Mattice finds a way to win this fight, because I'm not 100% sold on Rocky's chin like that. Rocky on the back foot isn't the best version of him either, but he does throw a whole lot of punches, whole lot of volume, and he can outwork Mattice. I'm expecting him to outwork Mattice, but Mattice will have to fight a calculated offensive and defensive fight and be defensively responsible and not let that chin be too high in the air. Pitbull Cruz was able to catch him with some looping shots as Mattice was pulling back and trying to move out the way. He did get caught with those shots. But if Mattice can weather some of the early storms in the fight, man, I think he can do what Shock did, and that's take this fight in the latter rounds and take advantage of a tired fighter. But that's a big if he can weather the storm. Close fight. But in this one, I'm going with Rocky Hernandez to win this fight by decision. I think it's a tricky fight for Rocky Hernandez, and I'm going with Rocky to win this fight because he's at home, and I think he's going to outwork Mattice. I think Mattice is going to have to take a risk, and that puts himself open to being hit with some shots that he probably does not want to get hit with. And for him to land the shots against Rocky Hernandez, I think he has to catch him in an exchange, which wouldn't be out of far left field. I think that's possible too. I like Rocky Hernandez to win this fight by decision, but man, it's a 50-50 fight and a dangerous fight for Rocky Hernandez because Mattice can win this fight, and I would not be surprised if he does win this fight. So those are my thoughts. I would love to hear from you. How do you think this one goes? Who do you have winning? Let me know in the comment section below. So with all that being said, if you've been watching the video this long, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel, and we'll definitely see you next time.